Hampton Beach Casino, ready for the main event. And let's get you set by introducing you to the two combatants. We will start off with Super Ray, the pride of New Bedford, Mass. He's now 36 years old, 47 career wins. He said he dropped 10 to 15 pounds over the course of the last week. Still came in 5 pounds over the contracted weight. Ray's last 5. He just fought Ricky Hatton in December. He had won 3 straight before that. Teddy, what's the fight plan for Super?
Well, for Oliveira, number one, keep it close. You're probably better off inside than on the outside, where his speed can give you more problems. But you must go to the body consistently when you're in there. And number two, no earmuffs. You sometimes go defensive in front by just covering up with your gloves up and your elbows in. This will allow Augustus to get off his punches and score. And finally, number 3, jab to his chest. He'll try to control you on the outside with a little movement and pot shots. You must do something to stabilize him, to control him. And the jab to the chest can do just that.
And here's Emanuel Augustus. Of course, when he fought Mickey Ward here in the Fight of the Year, according to Ring Magazine, he was known as Emanuel Burton. But he took his father's last name when his parents were married a couple of years ago. He's now 30 years old. 5'7", he's 4 inches shorter than Ray. And a look at Augustus's last 5. He's fought once since Teddy and I went nuts watching him get robbed against Courtney Burton. The loss to Thomas Barrientos was a DQ for unsportsmanlike conduct when he spoke back to the referee in a fight that he was winning. Teddy, what's the fight plan for the very unpredictable Emanuel Augustus?
Don't speak back to the ref.
That's right. Number 1.
Number 1. Now number 1A. Show the speed. You are faster than him. Show it by controlling the outside with those quick combinations. Number 2, distance and angles. Oliveira needs to be set to punch and to be close enough to be effective. So stay outside. Don't allow him to get close, and use your legs to keep him off balance by moving to the sides as you punch. And finally, number 3, don't be defensive too long. You move your head well, but at times you may make too many moves without punching. This allows Oliveira to go on the attack without worrying about anything coming back. When you move, come back as soon as possible with something so he doesn't take control.
Respect the bell, and above all, protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves. God bless you both.
One of the all-time greats, Double S, Steve Smoger, the referee. Of course, he was the referee for Augustus Mickey Ward. May we have the same result here tonight. You want experience, you got him. These two fighters are to boxing experience what Bob Barker is to game show experience. They have been there year after year, time and time again. The numbers speak for themselves. Opening round scheduled for 10. Super Ray in the red, Emanuel Augustus in the leopard print.
Oliveira came in heavy yesterday at the weigh-in. You touched on it earlier, Joe. The contract was 145 pounds. Oliveira came in 152.5 pounds. He went to lose weight. He lost 2.5 pounds down to 150, and then made a financial agreement with the camp of Augustus to give half of his purse to Augustus to allow him to come in at 150 pounds.
And with all the 26 years, the 119 fights, the 869 rounds between these two, they've had one first-round knockout among them.
Oliveira's strength, his suit, he's steady, but usually needs to be close to work. The only thing you see on the outside is that jab. But the quicker hands, the more explosive style, belongs to Augustus. He fights in spots, though. He'll give you spots to catch up when he's not working. But those spots are a little bit more stylish, a little bit more explosive, with the natural ability of speed than Oliveira's. Oliveira likes to be steady, try to wear you down.
Right hand comes in from Ray.
And likes to get to the body to slow you down. Again, most of the work from Oliveira is going to be in here, in close quarters. I think the advantage for Augustus would be right there on the outside. He can use his quick hands on the outside, Joe. He can use the quick legs on the outside. And he could probably have an advantage on the outside if he could be consistent with that, being that Oliveira really doesn't get the engine revved up until he gets into close quarters.
Augustus was able to put a left hand between the guard of Oliveira.
It's kind of like the tortoise and the hare. You remember that story when you were a kid? The tortoise is slower. That would be Oliveira. But he's steady. Always going along nice and steady. Of course, the hare is quicker. That would be Augustus. But the hand makes some stops along the way and allows the tortoise to catch up and get ahead. Augustus makes stops along the way.
He does so many times.
He's making a stop right there.
He is. Now, this is what you're talking about, Teddy, and it was one of your fight plans.
See the hair making that little stop there? And the tortoise just chugging along. That's where Oliveira wants to be, in close.
Right on the inside, he put the left and right together, then back to the jab.
The only thing you're going to see on the outside with Oliveira is that almost ponderous, steady jab. Most of the other work for Oliveira will be inside.
Oliveira Augustus, end of round one.
Mix in your other stuff. You're strong.
The fighter focus on Ray Oliveira, as you see trainer John Scully trying to talk to him after the first round. Lost a lot of weight to get ready for this fight and still came in 5 pounds over the weight. He's fought everybody and anybody, and this is the 18th time that he has fought on ESPN. As for Emanuel Augustus, one of the real characters for the game, recently sparred with Costa Zoo, got him ready for Ricky Hatton, who was coming off of a fight with Ray Oliveira. He has fought everybody, and this is his 14th career fight on ESPN. Teddy, we were talking about the other day, but if we were to have a Hall of Fame of Friday night fights, these two guys are getting in on the first ballot.
Yes, they are, and Mickey Ward is right there.
Mickey Ward, who has fought 24 times on Friday night fights and is here tonight. We hope to visit with him a little later on. This is his home court right here, Mickey Ward. His castle of boxing. Ray tries to come in behind the jab and throw off that right hand. Augustus, now that smile comes up on Emanuel Augustus, and you know he's getting comfortable and he's ready to let loose.
We're going to see if the steadiness of Oliveira is better than the quickness and style and movement of Augustus.
6-7 punches that time. The right hand came in. Punches in round one. You see Augustus 20 out of 87. And you see what Ray Oliveira does best, getting those punch stats up over 100. 19 out of 103.
Again, when there's distance, the only punch you're usually going to see from Oliveira will be that jab. Not a fast jab, but a straight, stiff one. And one that so far tonight has been fairly accurate. Once again, the quicker hands, the man in the leopard trunks.
Getting a good look at the hand speed right now, Teddy.
And you're getting a look at how Augustus can be the man when there's distance. He can get more done on the outside with more weapons, more choices of arsenal than Oliveira has. Oliveira's only weapon at his disposal when there's distance is that jab. Augustus, he can do much more when there's distance. He can take advantage of that distance like that with both hands.
Went to the body with the left hand. Ray just keeps firing back, but being backed up now by Augustus. 2 right hands and 2 left hooks to the body and then back upstairs.
See, these spots here when Augustus will stop, like right here, when he goes defensive just a little too long, that's where Oliveira must make hay. Well, that little bit of sun is shining. Like right now. And Ray not taking advantage of that little spot. And that can hurt him as this fight progresses.
Snaps back his head with a left hand, does Augustus, and now puts 2 right hands in the midst of that combination.
Again, Augustus, as we said at the top, Joe, served on the outside. That's where he can really make the best use and show the separation of that advantage of speed on the outside.
Good round of action between these two. Joe Tessitore and Teddy Atlas with you on Friday Night Fights, presented by AutoZone. Round 3 of our main event between the always entertaining Emanuel Augustus in the leopard print trunks and Sucre Ray Oliveira, the veteran who says he wants respect. He apologizes for coming in 5 pounds overweight, but he's looking for respect at age 36, and he says, I will keep going until I'm not wanted any longer. Right hand comes in from Augustus.
we would use geometric figures to describe this fight, you would say that Oliveira is a triangle and the rectangle is Augustus. There's just more angles to Augustus. He can do more things. He can fight inside with you. He can fight outside. He can fight on the sides. Oliveira mostly limited to serving whatever he's going to serve offensively right here, right in front of you. Now it's up to Augustus to continue showing those angles and those dimensions and those sides to himself. If he doesn't, if he just stands in front, he will make this a very interesting fight and allow Oliveira to be where he can be most effective. Always moving those hands, especially when you stand in front of him. Once again, the quicker hands belong to Augustus, and he can use that speed on the outside, especially since Oliveira does most of his work, as we said early, when he gets close. The only thing you're going to see from Oliveira, Joe, on the outside is that jab. But not Augustus. You're going to see a lot of things from the outside.
We're used to it.
Even some things that are a little unorthodox.
And many times that's when he's at his best.
See when he's moving his head like that and he's twisting all over and doing these contortions? That's where Oliveira must use that experience, that great experience he has. Not be shaken and throw the jab to the chest of Augustus. Steady Augustus. Stabilize Augustus. Take some of that movement away from him. Not get caught up in it. Not get mesmerized by it.
You know, the one guy that never solved that, Teddy, was Alex Trujillo when we did that fight.
No, he never did.
And he was just completely embarrassed by Emanuel Augustus. And at the time, he was a top 10 ranked fighter that people were falling in love with.
Augustus has done that to a lot of good fighters. He has fought many, many good fighters throughout his career.
Very good, very good.
End of round number 3. Emanuel Augustus. Speaking of one of the great fighters that he has fought throughout his career, well, let's take you back to July of 2001. It was the ESPN Fight of the Year. It was the Ring Magazine Fight of the Year. And when you think of all-action wars where two guys just give it everything they have, does it get any better than Emanuel Burton, as he was known at the time, against Irish Mickey Ward? Of course, the memorable scene when referee Steve Smoger came in, hugged them at the final bell, and said, "God bless you. I love both of you." And we couldn't get enough of that. The 2001 Fight of the Year. And we are always so glad to be joined by Irish Mickey Ward when we come here. I call this your home court here. This is kind of your place.
Yeah, it is, actually. I'm only down the street in about a half hour.
Good to see you, Mickey. How you been?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Everything's going good.
Let me ask you this, because everybody always wants to know, are the eyes good? You feeling good? I know you went into retirement. How have things been physically?
Right, the hands are good, the eyes are good. I got surgery on both eyes, you know, to correct my the vision and stuff. Everything's good right now, and hopefully, God forbid, it stays that way.
Yeah, we wish you the best with that. Mickey, when you take a look at Emanuel Augustus, you know, he said to me yesterday, he said, what a pleasure it was to see Mickey Ward in person coming up here to New Hampshire. Because I've talked to him on the phone, but it means a lot to me to see him in person. What are your thoughts when you visit with Emanuel?
I talked to Emanuel, and he's a respectable guy. He's got a lot of respect, and I got a lot of respect for him. And it's great, you know, fighters have that camaraderie, you know, like that respect for each other. You should have more of that, you know what I mean? And that's what it's about, is the respect. It's a hurt sport. We're all in there trying to win, but it's about respect, too. He's a great guy, and I wish him all the best.
Did you get a headache when you watched those clips?
Actually, yeah, I do, Ted. I'm like, why did I do this?
Now here's Augustus with the showboating and a left hooker cut that comes in. And this is what he just loves to do, the stylist.
Well, let's talk about what this can do. This can do a couple of things. One, it can definitely distract his opponent. Although his opponent, Ray Oliveira, a guy who's fought for the world title, the IBF Junior Welterweight world title, and has fought 7 current or former world champions, should be experienced enough to deal with that. But it can distract your opponent. It also can take you a little bit out of the fight.
Oh, what an uppercut!
And like I said, it can mesmerize your opponent and set up big shots. Now, The last thing it can do, can it hurt you on the scorecards? Can it hurt you with the judges? It has sometimes in the past, even though it shouldn't. It should be all about the punches. But sometimes it's not. Right now it is distracting Oliveira. It is seeming to stop his engine from running.
Mickey, what's your take on this?
That's Augustus. He's something else. He fights in those angles, and he's like, he does that puppet stuff, Teddy, in and out, to the side, and he frustrates you. You have to keep your composure and say the game plan, because if you don't, he'll beat you in your mind.
Mickey, that's a great way to describe it. You said the puppet stuff, because what I've always seen through the years is it's almost as if a string is pulling up that left knee up in the air, and you take a look at the left knee, the next thing you know, a left hand is coming with it.
Right, you have to. That's why you have to keep your composure, and you have to catch him when he's jumping. When the legs in the air, you're gonna tag him.
Exactly, Mickey. We were talking about that earlier. That's where you must, number one, keep your composure, as you just said, and make sure your hands go, because while he's doing that, a part of him's going to be out of position.
Right, exactly. And that's when you can get hurt, when you don't see something. And when he's bouncing like that, if you catch him, you can hurt him, but he's so elusive. It's easy to say for me sitting here, but I know being up there with him is very hard.
You have the right to say anything you want.
Irish Mickey Ward with you. Now, you always come and visit with us when we're up here in New Hampshire, but tonight was obviously a very special night that you were deeply invested in, because your 21-year-old nephew, Sean Eklund, was making his pro debut. He was out there against Joey Ortega. This was a really good action-filled fight. In the first round, he went down from a right hand. What did you think of your nephew tonight? He would go on to lose a split decision.
Right, Sean showed a lot of grit. He got caught early. He caught on the ear and he went down. You know, and I told him, Sean, Bernard Hopkins, the best middleweight, probably the second best middleweight in the world ever, lost his first pro fight, like you had said. And, Sean, you can either learn from this or it can make you a better fighter or a worse fighter. I go, Sean, study this thing and make you a better fighter. Don't let it kill you. Come back the next day or next whatever and do better and learn from it, because everyone loses. And the thing is, if you learn from it, you make you a better fighter. If it kills you, if you don't, it'll make you a worse fighter. So, Sean, keep your composure, not keep your composure, but be strong. Say, and know in your heart that you want it and do it again.
Well, that's good advice, Mickey. And as you said, one thing that you can't teach, and that's hard. And
that's right.
Your nephew showed plenty of that, getting off the floor early in his first pro debut, in his first fight, in the first round, getting off the floor and making it a close fight.
Right, Teddy. You can show technique all you want, Teddy, in different styles or different methods or what have you, but you either have it or you don't. Either you have it or you don't, and he showed he did, Teddy. Now he just got to sharpen up on the skills.
I agree with you. He showed the trademark of that Ward family. Plenty of ticker.
Right, but I just don't want him to square up when he was doing it.
Well, now it's time to go to the chalkboard and learn and work on the mistakes.
That's right.
So round number 4, Ray Oliveira had 111 punches thrown around, in which Augustus really got everyone's attention with his antics and was scoring well, especially with the uppercut. Oliveira's thrown over 100 punches in every single round so far. We're a minute into the 5th now.
Now, these are the quarters where Oliveira wants to be in and makes sense for him to be, right, Mickey, on the inside. That's where he does most of his work.
Exactly, because Ray's the bigger guy, and Ray wants him to stay there, so Ray don't have to move around too much. He's reserving his energy right now doing this. He's throwing punches, he ain't moving his legs, so he's keeping his energy.
And he can go to the body and start to take maybe some of those legs away.
Exactly.
From Augustus.
Exactly. He's the bigger man, and that will wear on you. But Augustus is so elusive. He's like, even though he's in front of you, he's not.
Well, that's why right now, Ray's got to make the most of this opportunity.
Exactly. And he is, but he's laying in there. He's punching in there, but he's laying more.
He's not doing quite the effective work that you'd like to see him doing. And there's a good example of what you're saying. Giving a little opportunity now for Augustus to explode.
Augustus lets his hands go. Mickey, thank you so much for visiting with you. Hey, listen, best of luck to your nephew. I know you're a great influence in his life, and all your great contributions to the sport continue onward.
Thank you.
Mickey Ward.
Thanks, Teddy.
Good having you, Mickey.
Thank you.
Final minute here of round number 5. These two guys haven't moved for a good minute and a half. Ray Oliveira pops a right hand in there. Emanuel Augustus looks for the opportunities to put 10 punches together, and he does just that. Uppercut comes in from Augustus. Right hands, 1, 2, 3 of them.
Well, there's a little distance, a little space. As soon as you see those angles in that little space, that little distance, look for Augustus to exploit it with his quicker hands, and he has. Again, there's just more angles, more dimensions to Augustus than there is to Oliveira.
Ray Oliveira has thrown over 125 punches in this round as we come to the end of round number 5. Augustus has thrown over 100 himself. Just a fabulous, fabulous round of action as we come to the halfway point of this scheduled 10-rounder, and we check in with Christy Martin and Brian Kenny. Brian.
Very good.
All right, guys, now into the drunken master.
Yes, exactly, Brian. And I agree with your assessment, Brian. If that's how he's at his best, then go for it. And here he comes out in round 6, already starting with that form. So let's see if he goes to it. Hands down, side to side, knees up, and firing off right hands that are swaying behind him, and then all of a sudden they're landing flush. CompuBox numbers from round 5 look at the punches. 56 out of 108 for Augustus. And Oliveira on the other side threw 143. Good stuff. Right hand comes in as Super Ray falls him back. Now staying with the jab, and the puppet is in form. Combination comes in from Augustus.
A lot of people would ask, how do you deal with this kind of movement and chaotic,
Look at this,
behavior? But the way you deal with it is, as Mickey was touching on, stay composed, use all that experience that we talked about that Oliveira has, and throw punches. While he's making all those movements, his body's in front of you. Some of it is more show than dough. So what you have to do is you got to move your hands and take advantage of them. Don't get mesmerized and set up by the movement, but take advantage of him being out of position and start chucking punches at him.
A jab to the chest was part of Teddy's fight plan. And right now on Teddy's scorecard, Emanuel Augustus has taken rounds 2 through 5 for a 49-46 edge.
See, these are the spots where the hair, the quicker rabbit, Augustus, and he's shown that, takes little breaks where Oliveira did not make the most of it. He must take advantage of these spots where Augustus slows down. And again, the problem for Oliveira, we noted it right at the top. Other than the jab, his repertoire is only useful when he's in close. If Augustus keeps distance, well, he separates himself and he's the better guy. And there's a double punch right there.
Unbelievable. And then a left and a right.
But what you got to look at here, Joe, is not the end result, but the beginning. When Augustus is making all those movements, shooting his hands to the side, then he's not ready to punch. And when he's doing that, see, Oliveira just watched him. He got mesmerized, and he allowed the hands to get back into punching position, and he paid a price for it. But when the hands are shooting to the side, when he's out of position, that's when you have to work. That's when you got to throw your shots up the pipe, up the middle. And that's where you need a real clear, steady head to do that. And Oliveira has not been doing that despite all his experience. He's been caught up in all that flash and pizzazz.
He did it in the 4th round, and he came back and pulled it off again here in the 6th round. Let's check back in with Brian Kenny.
Joe, some boxing news now. The Nevada State Athletic Commission suspending Eric Morrell. Former flyweight titleist pled no contest to second-degree sexual assault. He could get time in jail. The assault involved a 15-year-old girl. Morrell was to fight Fernando Montiel Saturday on the Hopkins-Taylor undercard. That's out now. He'll be sentenced in August, and the commission will revisit the matter at that time. Some other notes. Welterweight champion Zab Judah said to be leaning toward a title defense against Charmbe Mitchell. That according to Dan Raphael on ESPN.com. Mitchell looked marvelous last time out against Chris the Mechanic Smith in his welterweight debut on the Tyson McBride undercard. Also, former junior lightweight champion Acelino Freitas will fight Saturday night in Brazil. Still one of the most exciting fighters in the world. Second fight since the loss to Corrales. He'll face Fabian Salazar of Panama. That'll do it for the news right now. Let's send it back live boxing again, and the master, Emanuel Augustus, in the ring. Joe?
Yeah, you want to see another look at what the master pulled off in that round.
Time.
A double punch, Teddy?
Time.
Exactly what it was. Two for the price of one.
You know, Teddy,
Right
now
here.
what's going on over
Nice
here
job,
in
my
the Ray
friend.
Oliveira
All the way
round? We see-
around. Take your
okay,
time.
we're wrapping up the right side. as Steve Smoger wanted to address the tape. So a little extra time for Ray Oliveira.
Excellent.
Oliveira took a break in the last round. If you consider throwing 89 punches a round a break, Augustus outthrew him for the first time. He's been outlanding him, but he outthrew him for the first time in the 6th round, and Augustus right back to his antics.
Look, this is a very difficult style for Oliveira, for anybody. But let's not forget, Oliveira has had such a long career with so many tough fights, with all the toughest fighters around. He finally cracked just a little bit. This is a fighter who had never been stopped in his 15-year career. He cracked a little bit in his last fight when he was stopped for the first time in that long career with now new champion Ricky Hatton, who just beat Katsuzu. Perhaps a sign, maybe, Joe, of the concrete wall starting to crack after many, many hits from the hammer.
Agreed, Teddy.
You know, you got a wall. Augustus by no means is a huge puncher, but he's a quick puncher, and he hits you with a lot of punches. You have a wall, and Oliveira has represented a wall. Anytime you're not stopped in 15 years, that's a wall. But you keep banging at that wall, banging at that wall, banging at the wall. Sooner or later, it starts to give just a little bit.
Double right hands and a right hand to the body from Augustus, who hasn't stopped for a good 20 seconds. Meanwhile, on the other side, Ray Oliveira slowed down in round number 6. Round 5, he threw 143. Round 6, he threw 89. And so far, he has thrown 50 punches here in this 7th round.
There's only so much you can take in a career of boxing. Just like football players, they can only go so long. No different with boxing. Oliveira, he had never been cut in his whole 15-year career, but cut 2 of his last 4 fights. To me, again, another sign of some wear and tear, going up and down in weight, the skin stretching and then coming back down. All those years, all of a sudden your body starts to show wear and tear it had never shown.
And it ain't going to get much easier as we come down to the last 3 rounds here of this fight.
How is this guy throwing at you with the ability he has? Talking about Augustus, the speed that he has, the style that he has. He give you so many different dimensions. He can fight inside with you, hold you on the inside, be able to just hold his own like he's doing right now. He's giving Oliveira a taste of his own medicine on the inside and getting the better of him. Then he can take it outside where Oliveira cannot match him.
Good shot.
Right hand to the body. Emanuel Augustus seemingly in total control now as we're in the 7th round against Ray Oliveira.
Very good. Very good.
Guess what? The Rabbit hasn't made many stops along the way tonight.
Friday night fights coming to you from Hampton Beach Casino in Hampton Beach, New Hampshire. Joe Tessitore and Teddy Atlas ringside with you
Yeah,
for
Chuck,
a
get some water up
spectacular
for me,
showing
babe.
that we get every year, and this time it has been Emanuel Augustus who's been in prime form and doing his thing. He's in the leopard trunks taking on the veteran Ray Oliveira, who was 21 out of 105 in that last round. Meanwhile, Augustus, a ridiculous 62 out of 123.
Yeah, come on, guys. Get that shit out of here. Come on.
Big punch numbers always between these two, but Augustus's percentage very, very high.
And as I talked about before, the long, tough career of
Thank you.
Oliveira. Augustus tonight, not only the faster, but the younger and fresher fighter. Don't minimize that. Not in his tough career.
30 years old, Emanuel Augustus, and really in recent years, Teddy, with the outings he had against Alex Trujillo and the outing he had against Courtney Burton, you can make the argument he's coming into his prime. Let's bring in Ice John Scully, the trainer for Super Ray Oliveira. Ice, how do you solve this problem that Ray has in front of him? What are you telling him?
I mean, with Ray at this point in his career, I mean, I think he can't let this guy run around and razzle-dazzle the crowd and pick him off with these sharp shots. The guy's really hard to fight. He's hard to box. And I think he really needs to get back on him.
What's the matter, Ray? What's the matter?
Steve
What's the
Smoger.
matter?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
What's the matter?
I'm all right.
You want the doctor to look at you?
No.
Okay, time in.
Very professional job by Steve Smoger trying to address that. John, if you want to get off headsets right now and try to get a sense of what's going on with your fighter.
I'm concerned.
Feel free.
I'm concerned, and I'll say it right now, I'm concerned about Oliveira. He's had a 15-year
John, we'll let you
career.
get back to
Hey,
work.
Doc.
John Scully,
Hey,
thank
Doc,
you for
get
your
in the
time.
corner.
Obviously
John
concerned in
Scully.
the corner of Ray Oliveira.
As you just said, Joe, the new trainer for the last couple of fights for Ray Oliveira, John Scully, a professional fighter.
Very good light heavyweight back in the day.
Yes, 1988 to 2001 spanned his career, and a good trainer too. But right now, working with an old fighter in the twilight of his career, Ray Oliveira, and
Oliveira kind of giving his last effort here because he's holding the back of his head. And Teddy, I would have major concerns right now. If he feels something in his head, maybe they want to take a good look here.
Well, I'm concerned, and I think I was touching on this earlier, and if our cameras can get a close look, Ray Oliveira
He's
looks
holding
like
the side of his
not only
head.
that, he looks like he's crying, and there's blood coming out of his nose, and I think this fight needs to be stopped.
Come here, doctor.
Steve Smoger's doing a great job by taking time to look things over. Let's listen in.
Where are you?
Come on. All right,
Can you see me?
New Hampshire.
Look at my fingers. How
If
about
there's any kind of stuff, Doc, I don't want any trouble in here, Doc.
Back your head, okay?
What do you think,
What day
Doc?
is it? All right.
You gonna let him fight, Doc?
Go watch him.
I'm concerned about this.
You know, I think Steve
Time
Smoger
in.
doesn't want to let him
No,
fight.
no, he doesn't, and that's why he's one of the top referees in the business. He lets you fight when you're supposed to be allowed to fight, and that's why he's been involved. No accident with some of the greatest fights that you're ever going to see. But when there's reason for him to step in and start showing concern about a fight not going on, he starts to show that concern, and the doctor decided to let it go. But we'll see.
Steve is saying, hey, I'm not a doctor, so I'm going to listen to what you have to say, but I don't like the looks of this, and neither do I, Teddy, as we come to the end of this round. The fight is over, as well it should be, as you see Emanuel Augustus coming over to the corner
I don't like the way he's acting.
and talking to Ray Oliveira.
like any of this,
Steve
Doc.
Smoger, the outstanding veteran referee, who basically was asking the doctor to finish off the fight at the end of the last round, came over there and said, that is it. I have seen enough. That is it. I don't like the way you're reacting. I don't like the way you're wincing and that you're touching your head. And that's those boxing
100%.
instincts that a doctor, Teddy,
doctors.
may not have, but a referee of all the veteran fights, Steve
I
Smoger,
just didn't
does
like
have.
his response.
Good job by Smoger, and
didn't
I
like
said
it.
earlier that I just felt very concerned
Yes,
about
I didn't
Oliveira,
like the
and I spent a
response.
lot of time the last couple rounds before we got to this point talking about the tough, long career, the amount of punches that Oliveira took, and there was a reason I was talking about that.
Joey,
There comes a
KO,
time
right?
to turn in or throw in the towel
KO.
when you're in this kind of business. I think that time may be there for Oliveira.
I stopped it.
There's Emanuel Augustus, who actually was showing concern in the last round. You could actually see that in his face also. Something just was askew with Ray Oliveira. Here's the replay, Teddy.
Again, Joe, when you're a fighter that's fought the kind of tough fights Oliveira has fought and taken the punishment that he's taken, there is an effect after that. As you can see, a right hand, first a clean one on the front of the head, on the chin, and then a glancing one behind the head. And that's the one you can see right there where Oliveira bent forward, grabbed the back of the head, and continued to complain about the effects of that punch as the moments went on as he fought during that round.
So Emanuel Augustus gets the TKO win. Look at the total punches that were thrown in this fight, but look at the landed column and see the percentage for Emanuel Augustus. Just very, very impressive display by Emanuel Augustus, who says now it's not about being a stylist and entertaining, although he was once again. It's about winning, making as much money as I can, and getting the big wins. Emanuel Augustus.
You know what I'm concerned right now is I hope that they get Oliveira, the doctors get him to a hospital, because now is the time he needs to get to a hospital now, after this fight, because you do not know what's going on inside Oliveira. I'm not trying to panic anyone, but they need to get him to a hospital and make sure that he's looked after.
Especially with all the recent tragedies that we've seen. ESPN2 Friday Night Fights is presented.
Et accueillons maintenant, please, now welcome Herman Ngujo.
You see the anniversary? Earthquake said we gonna play this in a different fashion. Remember I said that shit, you heard me? Hey!
Alors, pendant que Herman Ngoujo fait son entrée dans l'arène, allons-y avec les outils de la victoire. Une présentation de location d'outils Simplex Bernard.
Pour Augustus, il doit utiliser son expérience. 472 rounds en carrière contre 52 pour Ngoujo. Il faut qu'il soit puissant et précis.